Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Mark Stein in for Tucker Tonight. Illegal immigration is turning into a crisis across the country. And it's not because we lack laws, but because those laws are being ignored. According to new statistics from the Department of Homeland Security, dozens of gang members, including members of MS-13, are prowling the streets because sanctuary policies let them go free. Two-thirds of the released gang members were in California. Apparently that state's only problem with illegal immigrant criminals, it seems, is that they don't have the right to vote yet. Meanwhile, in Massachusetts, an illegal immigrant working as an Uber driver raped a passenger and has now fled back to Ghana. And in Washington, President Trump's Supreme Court pick, Neil Gorsuch, just sided with the court's liberals to strike down a law ordering the deportation of immigrants who commit violent crimes. Raul Reyes is an attorney and immigration advocate, and he joins us. This rape victim, she's made her name public,
right.
Emily Murray, because she now basically has no redress from the courts.
Right, unfortunately.
What's the deal with that? Who's to blame?
Well, you know, when we look at the facts in this particular case, it is really, honestly, a big mess all around. First question, why was Uber even employing this undocumented person?
Well, the answer is
number one.
They employ a lot of illegal aliens.
Well, that in itself, even I know Uber employees are considered contractors, but still, we all know anytime you get a job in this country, you're supposed to fill out your documentation. So that's the first problem. Second problem is when they set the Massachusetts, when they set the bail for this case, for a rape case, they only set it for $10,000. That is, anyone in the legal field will tell you that's unbelievably low, especially for national. It should have been at least $100,000.
But it's large for Massachusetts, because only last year a Massachusetts judge gave bail of $2,500 to a Dominican gangbanger who'd raped a Boston College student, and he then fled.
Right. So
this is becoming a pattern.
So they cannot say they were totally unaware of these type of circumstances, especially with foreign nationals. And the third problem goes to the whole question of detainers. In this case, there's been some he said about who sent the detainer and who did not follow up on it. But this is the bottom line of the problem, is that, remember, an immigration detainer, by definition of the statute, is a voluntary request. It's asking the police to, or whoever is the local law officials involved, to hold this person for ICE.
Right.
In Massachusetts, because it's this sanctuary jurisdiction, they did not do that. But you know what? Even if Massachusetts were not a sanctuary jurisdiction, that's a problem, because ICE detainers are voluntary. If ICE really wants to get someone, if they want to take someone off the streets and they think they have reason to do so, they need to get a criminal warrant, which requires a finding of probable cause.
But in this case, in other words, you need probable cause for someone who is for a warrant for someone who's not even in the country. But just let's not let these Massachusetts authorities off the hook that easily. This detainer was sent to the local police, who then sent it to the district court, and the district court basically declined to pass it on to the county attorney. Right. Isn't this the culture in Massachusetts of a sanctuary state, where in effect this guy, like the guy last year, we're getting to this where illegal immigrant Uber drivers who commit rape, they're not quite a separate category of crime, but they're getting that way. Just like the guy last year, they're treated differently from, say, a Massachusetts native, some guy who got off the boat at Plymouth Rock would, if he
and it's not necessarily the culture in Massachusetts. What it is, it's the state law, because in 2015, the Massachusetts Supreme Court, they ruled that statewide, no matter what local police or law enforcement officials believe or think, statewide, that these local jurisdictions cannot hold people while awaiting ICE detainers, because they were concerned about potential Fourth Amendment concerns. So even, for example, even if there wasn't this back and forth, even if the local officials had wanted to, that would have broken the law.
How does the Fourth Amendment apply to someone who shouldn't even be in the country that has the Fourth Amendment?
Well, the way that the Massachusetts court applied it, they were looking at, they defined detention as an arrest, and the arrest ends when the local jurisdiction releases them. And under their view, this is their thinking, if you hold them again for another 48 hours, which is what detainers do, that constitutes a second arrest, and therefore that's where you have the Fourth Amendment concerns about unreasonable searches and seizures. But that's their reasoning.
So their reasoning is that there's 7 billion people on the planet, and if this guy who's back in Ghana has a pal who'd like to come to Massachusetts and rape a woman, that pal in Ghana knows he's covered by the Fourth Amendment, even though he's in a country that doesn't have the Fourth Amendment.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say what I think it's important to know about detainers, what I think everyone should know, whether you're in favor of sanctuary cities and jurisdictions or not. ICE issues about 100,000 detainers a year, okay? Of that number, in 2015, which is the year where we have the fullest statistics, only 61% were not followed up on in any way. There was no call to the local jail. They didn't show up. Nobody, arrived to pick them up. Only 15%, and that's 1/5, actually resulted in a deportation. So that goes back to the notion that if ICE were serious about getting these people, and Homeland Security were taking it seriously, they would get the criminal warrant, because then the local jurisdictions, there's no belief system, there's no Massachusetts court decision. It's the law that they must hold them.
Well, thank you for explaining that the detainer is, in effect, just meaningless bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo.
It's a request.
Well,
it's just a request.
Yeah, that's right. Request.